Hi, it's Jan Johnson, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really glad that you did. And today what I want to talk to you about is connections and the stories that are created through those connections. And there's a reason why I'm feeling like sharing this with you today, because a lot of times I think I can feel on the other side of the camera the audience and you listening to me and maybe sitting there at your desk, or if you're in a coffee shop and happen to be watching this or whatever, and you feeling maybe, you know what, I need to make my business work. It's not going for me. I want to get out of my 9 to 5. I have to make this happen. Something's got to change for me. If these people that I'm watching can do this, I can do this. And you know what? You're right. You can. And sometimes when you're sitting there and you're feeling that way of please let me find the answer to be able to have something springboard for me and recognize my talent and what I want to do and what I'm bringing forth in life, then you can kind of feel a loss almost, or sense of kind of wandering. And I'm just sharing this thought about connections with you today to let you know that if you think about this, maybe it'll relax you from the point of view of where you're at. And if you can relax and say, hey, there's a path and everything happens for a reason, and keep your eyes open on the path as you travel it, then those opportunities will come to you in a much greater fashion. I'm going to tell you a story about me. This is a couple of years ago. I signed up for a class, really expensive. I forked out the money for something that was kind of out of my realm, out of my budget at the time. And I was kind of both in over my head and meeting people in a different kind of arena. And I decided I needed it for me. For some reason, I wanted to do it. So I decided to do it. I went to Las Vegas for this class. And while I was there, I happened to be standing in line waiting for lunch to get a table, and a lady in front of me turned around and started chatting. It turned out that she was the facilitator for the guy who was running the meeting, and she was really engaging. And we ended up talking, ended up sitting together with a bunch of other people at the lunch table. We continued to chat throughout the event, got each other's cards and names, and then when we came back, there was a forum that was set up for the people who attended the class, because there were online things that we did in several weeks following that. We interacted through that, talked a couple of times. We kind of lost touch for a while. And then, even though I really liked her, she really liked me, you know, business and life gets in the way. So we lost touch for a little while. And then she contacted me, I guess it's about 2.5 years ago that actually the class was. And so then she contacted me a year later, so this is a year and a half ago, letting me know that there was someone that she knew that was starting up a network marketing company and they needed help. They needed consultation. And I was the only one in that class that she met that was in network marketing. And so she thought of me. And so she introduced me to that person. And I flew to San Diego, and I ended up in a consulting engagement with that person, and ended up, that's where she lives, so we got closer then during that time frame, and while I was in that contract. And then it turns out that through connections of that connection, I ended up in another recent consulting contract with another company as well. And so that all happened as a result of me going to a class for an entirely different purpose and meeting this lady and being open to her energy and being open to trying something new. But then, just the other day, she and I were talking, because now we have become very good friends and we talk a lot. And she's been talking to me about, she's so excited about something, engaged with these guys in this company that she really feels is going to take off. She hasn't been this excited about anything since she moved from New York to San Diego about 10 years ago. And she's getting all prepared to go to this conference next week in Arizona. And they're going to present their business. It's a technical business. And she's just over the moon about this. And so in the process of the conversation, I said, tell me again where you met these guys. I've forgotten. She said, well, I met them last year when I went to the same conference. And I said, oh, and then I started thinking, the reason you went to that same conference last year was because of that business I had you in and the service it provided. Remember that? She goes, yeah, that's right. Because we thought that venue would be a good venue for her to share that service last year. So she went on her own, packed up, took my advice, and got to the conference. And that is where she met these two guys that now have hence turned into something that might be very lucrative for her that she's very excited about. And so because of me, that little thread occurred. Now she had to make all the dominoes fall in place and do the work, etc., just as I did. But the connections that we made, that's just one example. That's just one example of connections that you make along the way. So if you're open about yourself and you feel good about yourself and who you are, and if you share your story and interact with people, then the right things will happen to you that will create what you're looking to have happen for you. And I hope this video helped you. If it did, please comment and share. And I'm so glad you tuned in. I hope you have an awesome day. And tomorrow I'm going to share a little something with you that might really you might really want to take advantage of. So thanks again so much for tuning in. I'm Jan Johnson, thejanjohnson.com. Have a great day.